everyone, how are you today? I hope you will fine for today. So, still enthusiastic about learning?
I'm ready!
Okay. Before it, let me introduce myself. My name is Lita Maylanindia Nela. I'm from Physics Education, Lampung University. Okay, today for this video, I will explain the material related to uniform linear motion.
Concept of motion.
I want you to imagine when you stand by the roadside, you see Budi moving along with his car, and Budi sees you moving in the opposite direction to his car. Motion is relative depending on the observer and its reference point. So, an object has a reference point. The reference point is the initial point of the object. For example, a car is initially at point A and then moves towards point B. Point A is the reference point and B is the end point.
Types of motion.
Conceptually, motion is divided into two types, apparent motion and relative motion. Apparent motion is the motion of the object that is actually stationary but appears to be moving. Relative motion is the motion of an object relative to its reference point.
An example of apparent motion is when a tree seen from inside a moving car appears to be moving. They seem to be moving, but it is actually the car that is in motion. Apparent motion can occur due to a difference between the reference system or frame of reference used and the actual motion.
Moving objects always have trajectories. Number one is linear motion, circular motion, and parabolic motion. In this video, I will explain linear motion in the section of GLB. Uniform linear motion or GLB is one of the fundamental concepts in physics. Galileo Galilei conducted systematic experiments and observations on motion. He discovered that objects moving at a constant velocity would undergo a displacement proportional to the time elapsed. So, GLB refers to the motion of an object moving along a straight line with a constant velocity.
Characteristic of GLB.
The first characteristic of GLB is constant velocity. In GLB, the object's velocity remains unchanged over time. The object will have the same displacement in the same time interval. The velocity of the object in GLB can be positive or negative depending on the direction of motion. The next characteristic is zero acceleration. In GLB, the acceleration of the object is considered to be zero because its velocity doesn't change. Although the object in GLB can have non-zero initial acceleration, such as when it starts from rest and is given a push. Its acceleration becomes zero after reaching constant velocity. Next, straight line displacement. An object experiencing GLB will move along a straight line. Displacement is the distance between its final and initial position in the direction of motion. In GLB, displacement can be either positive or negative depending on the direction of motion. A positive displacement indicates forward motion. while negative displacement indicates backward motion. The last characteristic is relationship between velocity, time, and displacement. In GLB, there is a mathematical relationship between velocity, time, and displacement. If we know the displacement and time, we can use the formula for average velocity to calculate the object's velocity. If the velocity is constant, we can also use the velocity formula to calculate the displacement in a specific time.
Elements of GLB.
For GLB, we must know about 4 elements. First of all, you must know about the distance. Distance is the total path traveled by an object. Number 2, you must know about displacement. Displacement is the difference between the final position and the initial position.
For the example, Budi was riding his bicycle on the road. He moved 500 meters to the right, then turned it around 200 meters to the left until he finally stopped it. So, what is the distance and displacement? The assignment is meaning to this. The distance equals A to B plus B to C equals 500 plus 200 equals 700 meters. Next, for the displacement is A to B minus B to C equals 500 minus 200 equals 300 meters.
The next material you must know about speed. Speed is the ratio of the distance traveled to the time taken by the object. The last material is velocity. Velocity is the displacement of an object divided by the time interval.
The formula of GLB, first of all, is a speed. Speed equals distance over the time. Number 2 is a velocity. Velocity equals the delta of distance over the delta of time. Next, to calculate max velocity, we are use a formula. Max velocity equals initial velocity plus acceleration times time. To calculate average velocity, we are use initial velocity plus final velocity over 2. For example, a car travels 120 meters in 60 seconds. So, what is the speed of this car? In this situation, we know the distance is 120 meters and the time is 60 seconds. So, the speed equals the distance over the time. So, 120 over 60 equals 2 meter over second. Let's go to the number 2. A marble initially at rest on the floor is then pushed and experiences an acceleration of 4 meter per second square. Calculate the velocity of the marble after moving for 8 seconds. For the assignment, we are know the initial velocity equals 0 meter per second. Acceleration equals 4 meter per second square. The time equals 8 seconds. The answer for 8 velocity equals initial velocity plus acceleration times time is 0 plus 4 times 8 is 32 meter per second.
Okay guys, that's all material about motion, linear motion, and GLB. Okay guys, are you understand? I hope so. Okay guys, that's all from me and see you next video guys. Thank you. Bye bye.